You're listening to Suburban Happy Hour with Anne-Marie
and Julia,
the podcast where we make delicious cocktails
or mocktails,
and talk about everything under the sun.
because the best conversations happen at happy hour. Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode. For this week's drink, we have a spicy margarita, which Anne-Marie made.
It's so good.
It is so good. It's very sweet, but I like it.
Yeah,
it's refreshing.
It's good for summer vibes.
Is yours actually spicy? Because I know she kind of toned mine down because I'm a little wimp when it comes to spice.
Not spicy, but it has more of like a jalapeno taste to it.
Okay.
It doesn't really have that much of a kick.
Ooh, I like it. I like
Yes.
I like that little kick.
Spicy margs are
That's
my weakness. They're
They are.
so good.
And the recipe, as always, will be on Insta.
Yep.
Okay, so for this week's episode, we are doing a little deep dive into who we are, a little self-identity hour. Maybe that's, self-identity hour. That can be what we call this. Basically, I just kind of wanted, this was my idea, I just kind of wanted to get into the nitty-gritty of who we are and why we are the way we are. And I feel
This is a little too deep for me, but I'll give it my best shot.
Yes, I appreciate the effort. I'm obviously no psych major, none of that. Neither is Anne-Marie, but it's just always like interesting to me why people do the things they do and like how they, live their lives and why. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of wanted to get into that. And like preparing for this, I literally prepared for this, half an hour ago. So that's not the best.
I haven't prepared for this, so
Wow.
we're just winging
Way
this
to
one.
try. But when you kind of take a second to think about who you really are, you're like, who am I? Who am I? And why am I the way I am? It was kind of fun to do it. I had like a 40-minute drive to get here from my thing. But yeah, I spent the whole time kind of like going over who is Julia at her core. So let's get into it. But first, do we have any check-ins?
Oh, I have to ask you a question.
Okay.
Because I've been seeing this all over TikTok lately, and I'm just like confused. It's like a TikTok where people are like, recently I asked somebody how many times they call their family or like they call their mom every day. How many times a day do you call your mom? If at all, if like a day, like how many times do you call your mom?
Once a day. But it really depends. Like in a week, I will call her out of the 7 days of the week. I'll call her like 5 times, but only once a day.
5 times a week?
5 times a week. But no, it's very sporadic for me. I don't call my mom every day, but some days I'll call her like 3 times. But if I had to do like an average of like how many days of the week, at least I call her at least once, I'd say 5 out of the 7 days. If I had to average it. Yeah, your answer, go ahead. I already know.
I call my mom at least 5 times a day.
But she also calls you, like your parents, just in general.
I'm saying just like me calling her.
Oh, really?
Like I call both of my parents before I go to work in the morning, like on my way. Mm-hmm. I call my mom on my way home from work.
Really?
I call my dad like just randomly throughout the day, whatever. I FaceTime my mom at like 4 or 5 because she wants to see the dog, and then we just like chat, and then I'll probably call her 2 times at night.
What are you guys
and then if it's a serious day and I like have questions while I'm cooking or like cleaning, I'll probably call her like 12 times a day. I'm not even exaggerating.
Really? No, I will. But I'm also somebody like, regardless, I rather call someone than text someone.
Yeah.
And that drives like Dylan, for example, nuts. Like he hates talking on the phone. Even if it's a simple question, I will call him. He's like, why did you not text me this? I said, because I just want to hear your voice. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to text. I don't know why. So whenever I do communicate with my mom, it's always calling. Like if I am texting her, I hate it because she makes no goddamn sense sometimes.
Yeah.
Because she's like talking into her phone and stuff. So I rather just call her. But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I usually like don't text my parents unless I'm like sending them. It's so funny. We'll like send each other pictures of something, and then
we'll call
before we'll even send, we'll like call and be like, hey, did you see that picture?
Yes, yeah. So I feel like if I had to average it out, it'd be like 7 times a week. But that's it, like just 7.
Mine's like 25, 30 times a week. I'm going to actually like try. I won't like, I won't make more calls than usual. Like I'm actually going to like track a normal week and see.
You can do that now if you look in your call log.
Well, my phone's
recording,
that's right. Or else
but
I would.
Yeah, but like Dylan, I'll call him at least 3 times a day.
Yeah.
For the stupidest shit. So I get it.
It's just like, it's not even like we're talking about anything deep. It's like, hey, how are you? Like, what are you doing?
Literally, yeah. I'll call but no, Dylan is my family. Yeah, I will call him at least 3 times a day minimum.
That's funny.
And he gets mad every single time. He's like, why are you calling me? I'm like, because I have a question. So
please answer.
I don't have any check-ins. This happened last week, but I had a horseback ride. I fell off of a horse. I just felt like sharing. It hurt a lot.
So glad you're okay, because it really could have been worse. But
oh yeah, so that was fun. Anything else exciting happening? We're leaving for Arizona for the wedding. Oh my fucking gosh! Actually, my dresses. Yeah. I am having a shipping crisis right now.
A
nightmare. So I ordered long story short, ordered 2 dresses from this company. Both of them didn't fit. Sent it back. They came, no problem at all. Ordered another order. And they're nowhere to be fucking found. And I'm like, I'm leaving in 7 days.
Well, apparently they got stuck at customs because it's like an overseas company.
Right. So that's the recent update I got.
She did get an email that said that it's making its way through. It was like really backed up at customs, and hopefully she'll get it by Monday or Tuesday, but we leave Thursday. So she's spending the weekend on the hunt for a dress.
Yeah. We've already been hunting yesterday, and there's nothing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I am having a dress nightmare too, but I'm just choosing to, la-dee-dee-da-dee-da with it because the fuck am I supposed to do now?
Dylan had the audacity to say, worst case scenario, you find something in Arizona. Haha. Like, what the fuck? Shut your fucking mouth.
He just doesn't understand. Boys can just fucking slap on whatever the fuck they want, like a nice tux, and call it a day. They don't have to worry about anything.
And I'm like, shut your mouth.
They don't understand the struggle.
Yeah, I guess that's
because the struggle is so freaking real. But I've just kind of given up on looking. I shouldn't, because I really don't have anything to wear. But
you should probably start again.
I don't know.
That goes into who you are as a person. Perfect segue into
who does that make me as a person?
I don't know. You should do a deep dive. Anyhow. Okay, so I kind of structured this by, I had 5 questions for Amory to think on, which she didn't, so I will start. So the first question that I had for this whole segment was, who are you as a person? And I don't know if I want to like read this whole paragraph that I have about myself, but I'm just going to kind of bullet point it. I would say that overall, I'm very open-minded. I love learning about like people's different cultures and such. I don't really care what people think about me per se, but I am a people pleaser in the fact that I don't like conflict. So I will do whatever it takes to avoid conflict. But if it's like some random that doesn't like me for whatever reason, I'm like, I don't care. But I used to care a lot. So I think I've evolved in that sense. And I'm really proud of that. Because it's like if somebody doesn't like you, they're not like, you don't have a control of it. If you did not do anything to them, right? Then it's just like, it is what it is. I would say overall, I'm very easygoing and I like wear my heart on my sleeve. Like I'm somebody who will trust first instead of like, you don't have to earn my trust. I give you my trust.
And then if you mess it up, it's taken away.
Right.
Makes sense.
So my mom always gets mad at me for that. She's like, you need to like stop trusting so easy. So yeah, I definitely do. I just feel if you are just so guarded, and that's fine if you are, because a lot of people are the opposite, I would say. It's just for me, I just feel like it's easier just to trust, to be open. And I guess if they break your trust, yeah, that's heartbreaking. But I don't know. I'm not a guarded person. That goes into the fact where I like would want to consider myself like a mysterious girly, like, she has depth to her. Like she's like somebody that, you really got to dig in to get to know.
Yeah.
I'm an open book. Like I always see those characters in movies or in shows or books, whatever. I'm like, oh, I wish I was like that girl that everybody was like, oh, I wonder what's going on with her. Like all that stuff. It's just never going to be me.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
You just love to overshare too sometimes. Like, which that's not a problem. But
right.
Like you couldn't even have anything mysterious about you because you're just going to want to tell everybody.
Exactly. And that's another thing with like, I hate awkwardness. I feel like awkwardness it's nothing is awkward unless you make it awkward.
Yeah.
So I will fucking yap away just to avoid awkwardness. I hate it. I do not thrive in that environment. So if you ever like run into me, I am not an awkward person because it's actually my number one ick.
Yeah,
if you're
no,
awkward.
Okay, relax.
Oh, relax. Yeah. You're not awkward to me, so you're not an ick to me.
No, but you could literally talk to anyone. I don't know, like Julia, yesterday we went to the mall shopping, and you know, like those people that give out free samples. Me, I was just like, oh, like, no, thank you. Didn't even make eye contact. Was just like, oh no, I'm good. And Julia was like, oh, like, yeah. And she got dragged into the store. I was sitting outside the store for literally like 25 minutes waiting for her to come out. And she just like, when she came out, she was like, I don't know why I did that. I just like, I felt bad if I got up or if I left or said no. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Like that could not be me. I was like, all right, girl.
Yeah. I don't know. And then my last thing, I wrote like a whole thing, but I think like a key thing about me is I hate being alone. And I think that stems from somewhere, which I like dive into. But first we need to talk about you. But like solitude is not my friend. You know how some people like, I need peace and quiet. Like, no, I don't want that. I like, maybe not. So I like to read and curl up with a book and, you know, read. But Dylan is always there, or someone's always, even I came over to your house the other day to read my book in your backyard with you. But I didn't talk to you, but I was just reading my book. I always like to have someone there. So that's also a key thing about me is I value company and being around people.
Yeah. I mean, I can kind of go right off of that. I don't have a problem with being by myself. I enjoy like you said, I enjoy the peace and quiet. I can sit anywhere by myself. I can do whatever by myself. That doesn't bother me, but I do value like other people's company still. I wouldn't say I would much rather be with people, but like I have my days where like, I want to have friends over. I want to go out with friends or whatnot. Right. And I have the days where I'm just like, no, I need to like recharge. I need to just sit by myself and like do that. Like that doesn't bother me at all. But I feel like I'm literally the complete opposite of you.
Really?
Yeah. Not like maybe if like a random person were to like meet us in a social setting, like me and you are the complete opposite.
Yes, that I will agree with.
I'm shy. I'm awkward. I will probably never start a conversation with anyone. I really have a hard time even keeping a conversation going with a random person like on the street. But when it comes to like people that I've grown up with or that I'm comfortable with, like, yeah, no, I have no problem like making a fool out of myself or just like being stupid or like being funny or whatnot or having a conversation. But no, like in public, that could never be me. I don't know. I just can't do it.
That's okay.
I'd also say I'm really empathetic. And I really do care a lot what other people think about me. Just, I try not to, and I try not to like let it affect me, but deep down I do. Everything that I do, I always think, what are other people going to think about me, XYZ. That's stopped me from doing a lot of stuff in my life. And then also, I would say that like sometimes I could just get like, not aggressive, but you know, like you avoid conflict, and I'm not really afraid of conflict at all. And if I see people like bothering my friends or like being rude, I'm not afraid to say something, which is really bad. I've gotten into a lot of trouble doing that, but I can't help it.
Multiple times where Amory's going off on someone for no reason.
It's not for no reason.
No, it's like something minor, like where the person didn't even realize that somebody's being mean, but Amory would be like, why would you say like that? What do you mean by that? Like, you're just like very, like, don't do that, you know, to the people that are, you know, exactly, to the ones that you care about. You will like stand up for them when most of the time they're not even like aware that somebody's giving them an attitude. Or like when you do realize they're giving them an attitude and they're like getting heated, like you will step in. Do you remember with the boat?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, our friend.
That was really bad.
Yeah, long story short, our friend got his like boat stuck on a it's a long story, but basically the boat got stuck and people were giving him like a hard time. Like,
no, you're thinking no.
What was the story with
that?
Are
you talking about with Adrian?
Yeah, what happened?
No, Adrian backed off of the loading dock with his truck.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so the boat got, like, his car got stuck.
His car got stuck. There was no boat. It was his jet ski.
Oh.
And, yeah, like, all, like, the people around were, like, these were like old ass men too, like making fun of him, laughing at him. And I mean, I was like a little drunk too. That's why I had so much like courage. But I literally went up to them and I went off on them for like not helping and laughing and being rude. And like, because obviously Adrian was like
flustered.
Yeah. And he was trying to like see like what to do next. And all these people were like,
taking videos, commenting.
Yeah, and I just like told them to back up.
She did not say like that.
I got called the dirtiest names that day by these people, and
the owner. It got to the point where the owner told her to get off the premises. Like Amory was a pit bull. She was not fucking around. So yeah, you will go to bat for your friends for sure, and I don't see a problem with it as long as you don't get in a physical fight with someone.
You know, but it happens.
Talk your shit.
It happens. Whatever. I always said I wanted to get punched in the face.
Yeah, you do say that a lot. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I just want to see if I would withstand it. If I could withstand the punch.
I don't know. I've never gotten punched in the face, so I couldn't.
Maybe one day you can just randomly punch me in the face. Okay. I'm just kidding. Please don't.
We'll do that.
But other than that, no, I feel like, I don't know. That's kind of who I am. I don't know.
But it's just so funny because you're kind of like a contradiction in a way.
Why?
Because to strangers, you're so like timid, like to yourself, but around... That's what I don't get. Like there's so many people like you where you guys are very like to yourselves, but maybe that's the whole thing, like the trusting. Like, do you openly trust people right away or no?
No. Maybe that's why. Like thing. I have to trust you and I have to like... I don't know. I just have to like know you and in order to like be my true self.
Yeah. And that does make you kind of mysterious in a way.
I mean, not really.
Well, you're definitely more mysterious than I am. Let's put it that way. If like to a stranger, like based on actions and stuff. Oh, and then I missed a thing that I was gonna say. But I think you can relate to this. Is I always feel like I'm someone to be thinking about the next thing that's going to happen, and I like, kind of forget to be in the moment.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are like that, where you just like on to the next. So that's an active thing that I'm trying to do this year, and I'm getting better at it. But yeah, it's just be in the moment. But I feel a lot of people aren't.
I know it's so hard, but I know I've been trying to be better with that as well.
The next question that I had was, what do you think makes you the way you are? Well, for me, I think what like shapes who I am is part of like my upbringing, I would say, because growing up it was just always me and my mom. So I think that, and only getting to see like my family once a year really kind of ingrained in me that I have to like create my own family out here type of thing. So I think, and also being an only child most of my life, at that point, 18 years, I was the only child. I feel like I was lonely a lot, I think. And then I think that's where the whole thing that stems to always wanting to be around people was from that. Not that my mom didn't do a good enough job. Like we were so close, we were like best friends. But I think I liked seeing when I would go to like your house or like anybody's house that, you know, I was friends with at the time, and they had like a big family and everybody was always around and stuff. I was like, I want that. So I kind of just created that for myself. And I think that has stuck with me through all these years. Like I just appreciate being around people because I like growing up, there was times where it'd just be me and my mom, and that for like, you know, days on end, I'm like, I want people around. So nothing wrong with that, you know, I was happy, but I feel like I was always missing that like craziness and that, you know, liveliness, I guess, because it gets quiet with just two people. Yeah. You know? So I think that's really why that is the social aspect of things. But then like the whole, I would consider myself a very independent person. That also comes from her because she had to do everything, and I like grew up seeing that. So I don't really want to rely on anybody, especially like financially. That's my number one thing. I never want to have to rely on anybody else to provide for me in that sense. And then just like being open-minded, I guess. I don't know where that comes from because my family is not very open-minded.
Oh, yeah.
Like in terms of like back home in Poland, I love them, but I don't know.
I mean, I think it's because also like it's just different. You grew up in different cultures as well.
Yeah.
You grew up around different people, and it's kind of like your values also come from the people you surround yourself with. And I feel like our values are very similar, and the values of our friend groups are all very similar. So I think that
you know what
that has a big play on it as well.
Because I mean, not to say because America, especially where we are, it's a big melting pot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of diversity. In Poland, it's literally just Polish people. So I think that's the disconnect there.
Yeah.
And I think if we were in like Southern Illinois, it'd be very different than growing up here.
Yeah.
Because you do see a lot of different cultures. So I think that part is the environment versus upbringing. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think obviously who I am has to do with my childhood, and I don't really know. Well, I know like my mom was always like, and still is, very empathetic and very generous and very kind, and always puts people before herself. And I think that I kind of do that as well. Not to the extent that she does, because she really does go above and beyond for everybody in her life. But I think just seeing that growing up, and that's just kind of like the person that I wanted to be as well. I really admired my mom for doing that, even though sometimes like she'll get stressed.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, but she really does try her best to do everything she can for other people, and I think that that's really like what I try and do as well. But I don't know, I feel like I really like being by myself now, because I wasn't able to when I was younger. Like, as you say, like my parents call me all the time or whatever. That was like multiplied by 10 when I was even younger. And oh my God, they weren't like super strict, but they like always wanted to know what I was doing, where I was. Like they would call me every like 30 minutes. Literally. Like there was never something I could do and my parents like didn't know. So I really like fell though into like giving little white lies. Like as a kid, I would lie about like the silliest stuff because I didn't want to like get in trouble with my mom, or I didn't want to like disappoint them. So like it would be the dumbest things that I would like lie about. She'd be like, "Oh, where are you right now?" And I'd be like, "Oh, just like at Haley's hanging out, but we were at the park." Or like like random like things park is and down like
the street.
Yeah, but like I know my mom would be like, "Well, like I don't know, like stuff like that." It would be so weird, but I don't know if that's where like me worrying about what everybody else thinks. I just like grew up not wanting to like disappoint anyone or I don't know. And I mean, a lot of it comes too from just like other things, you know. I feel like every kid goes through a little bit of bullying. I was definitely bullied a little bit in school. And I think even like by some of my close friends at one point.
We've talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah, no, we didn't put that episode out.
We didn't? What episode was that? Oh, that's right. Yeah, you can go into that a little bit.
Well, no, I don't feel like really digging deep into that. Okay. But I was just saying. So, I mean, there was like that point. So I think like, I don't know, that might lead to like why I'm like self-conscious as well.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, your childhood obviously plays a huge role in who you are now. And some things that like you don't even remember or like you don't even know are playing a huge part, they do. And it can be the smallest thing.
And I don't know, that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, do you feel like a lot of your childhood got carried over into your adult life, like in a positive way more so, or in a negative way?
I think it's both. I mean, I did obviously have a lot of amazing experiences when I was a kid, but I also had times that weren't amazing. Both, like, so I think it's both, and that's just kind of like shaped me into who I am today.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not like giving you
sorry. No, I get me. I don't know. Alexis, because my friend Alexis, you know her too though, she was just saying, she made a comment to me that kind of stuck with me. Like, she's surprised at how well I turned out with like a single parent household. And I was like, you know what? Especially when it comes to like my romantic relationship with Dylan. And I don't know, have I talked about this on the podcast? I don't think I have, but I have told you this before, how I get it if you have like daddy issues, mommy issues. I get that. But for me, no, I was talking about this with Taylor and Natalie, and I think you were there too. Because our friends, Taylor and Natalie, are very much like kind of like with the single parent thing, the whole situation. But they're very much like me where they don't play the victim. Not saying that people with those issues are playing victim, but sometimes they are. And I just feel like it's your choice whether you want to be like a byproduct of like the negative of that, or you can turn it around and be like, okay, well, my mom or dad, whoever it was, gave the best that they could for me, and, you know, be happy with that. And I think I turned out a lot better than someone with a single parent household could.
Yeah, but I think that has to do a lot with like who you have surrounded yourself with too. And even like our other friends that have gone through kind of the same thing, you and them grew up with like really strong friendships, friend groups, like really strong people that you could lean on and stuff. And sometimes people don't have that. So that's why
I think
it comes to turning it like towards their relationships with other people or whatnot, because they don't have that like strong support system there for them.
So yeah, I really do think like your childhood as like, and that's kind of unfair because as a kid you're not aware.
That's a lot of the way people are now. Like you really had no control over.
Right. And that's kind of sad because as a kid, yeah, you're not aware that, oh, the way that like my life is living now is gonna impact me 20, 30 years from now and always be a part of me, you know?
And I feel like a lot of just even like parents don't think that either. Right. They don't think that the way that they're acting or the things that they're saying or doing are going to affect their kids in the long run. That's why like I hope like if I do have kids one day, I can just like make sure that
be self-aware
I'm like my best self, or if I'm not, I like own up to those things.
Right. And explain.
Yeah. And that's what I really like harped on a lot when I was a teacher. If I made a mistake or one day I kind of like lost my temper or whatnot, like I would always make sure that whether it was the next day or the next hour, once I was like settled, I apologized to those kids and I told them exactly like what I was like, why I just did that, what I did to like bring myself back down, and that I was sorry and like things like that. Like just so they know like
it wasn't them.
Yeah, it wasn't them, or that I don't know, that like that was okay them, in any way, but like still like explain. You shouldn't be like
just yelling.
Yeah. Not that I would like stand up there and like scream my gut, but like even just like a little raise in the voice and you can see like, oh, they were like a little thrown off. Like I just want to make sure that they knew that like here's why I did that.
And I think that's so important because the psychology of it all, it's just it's really interesting. Yeah. And it's even like, for example, I saw this, I don't know where I saw this, maybe it was like an article or something, but for example, like the whole touching the stove, like don't touch the stove, don't touch the stove. But it's like, why? You don't want to touch the stove because you can get your hand hurt. Like you will burn yourself, and burns hurt. Like, but a lot of the times parents don't take that extra step of saying, instead of don't touch the stove, and the kid's like, why? And you just don't touch it. Just explain like you can hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that.
Then going back to when I was a teacher, I just thought of one story that like has still been with me. I got like upset at two students because they were just like misbehaving, whatnot. And I kind of like lost my cool with them. And I was just like a little rude. And then once I cooled down, I like took them out in the hall separately and I like said like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like that was so wrong. Although like blah, 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 blah. And the girl I was talking to literally like did not know what to do. She like was staring at me and I was like, what? And she's like, an adult has never apologized to me before.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She's like, why are you doing that? Like, that's never happened. And I was like, well, when you're wrong, you need to be able to say that you were wrong and kind of what you were planning on doing to fix it. So I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like,
just communication. Because kids are smart, you know, like.
Yeah.
You don't need to be. Yeah. So that's. Yeah, definitely your childhood definitely plays a big part in like who you become at the end of the day. So be nice to your kids, I guess, and explain things. Okay, what are values that you always go by? For me, I value people's opinions as in the way that I never want someone to feel like they can't express themselves. Like there is no right way except like in freaking math. Okay, whatever. But I'm saying like in life, there is multiple solutions to a problem.
Yeah.
And my way is not the highway. I hate the my way is the highway mentality. I don't like those kinds of people. I don't click with those kinds of people. And I never will. Because in my opinion, like everybody has a different way of doing things and that's okay. So just because you don't like somebody's way of doing it, still hear them out. That's one of my biggest things. Like let people speak their freaking truth, you know? That's one of my biggest values.
I like that. I agree with that.
I value kindness. As simple as that sounds, I feel like it's a lot easier to be a nice person than like a mean one and one that is judgmental. I just feel like it's just easier. Just be nice. That's like one of my things. Obviously, I value quality time and being around people. That's one of my big things. So another one is I value boundaries and respecting people's like beliefs and things like that. Like if there's something that you don't want me to talk about or do or anything like that, I respect that. Like I don't like to push people past the envelope, especially people I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a different situation if it's like a friend that needs help and doesn't want to talk about it, but you know that they do. That's a little bit different. But
yeah.
Boundaries of people, especially that I don't really know, and you can pick up on that. I don't like to push that. And then my last one is I value when people stay true to who they are and they don't change just because of who they're around. Like, do you, boo? Like, be you. Because this comes from me. I guess this is going to the next point, but there's a point in time where I kind of lost where I was. And like looking back on it, it's fucking embarrassing. It's like, just be you. Like, don't change. Even like now, even if like you're around new people or like whatever it is, like just, I don't like when people, I can tell right away when people are like switching up and I don't like that. Just like be you know, those are my values.
That's not as easy as it sounds, but I totally get it because I'm the same way. Like if I notice someone like switching up, I'm like, oh, but like you're so better. Like you're so much better as yourself. Like you don't have to do that. But no, I would agree. I definitely value being like the kindness and like kind of giving things. I don't know how to explain that.
That's one of the things I said about you're very generous.
Yeah, I love to like do things for other people or like I don't know, not necessarily like give them gifts or something. I just like to be there for people, like to do favors for people. I just really enjoy helping people in general. And I really value just kind of giving an ear to people that need it. Just like kind of being there to listen, not even necessarily like give my advice, because sometimes people don't need that. Sometimes people just need somebody to sit there and listen. Right. So I really do value that. And then I also value just like that, like you said, that quality time with my people. I really enjoy being around my friends and family, and I want to make sure that I like continuously do that. And like it's so funny. I was just like telling my parents, like, because they sometimes ask me to like go to dinner or whatnot, and I'll like be like, oh no, not right now, and then I like hang up the phone. I'm like,
that's me to
I
the
like
core.
Feel really bad that I just said no. Like I'm not doing anything, and I call them back. I'm like, yeah, like where do you guys want to go? And it's not even like I do obviously feel guilty sometimes, but I just like don't want to miss out on any of those moments like with them, especially if I'm not doing anything. Like I could sit here and be by myself, or I can like go have a nice dinner with my family or friends. So like I'm going to obviously choose that.
So kind of moving into what I was touching on before was, have you ever feel like you kind of like lost yourself, lost your values at all ever in your life?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to go in? Do you want to dive into that?
I mean, more than once. And I feel like even like right now in this stage, like I haven't like fully found myself again after like, I don't know. So I feel like definitely during COVID, I for sure just lost myself. And even like a little bit before then, kind of like when I was like at the tail end of my last relationship, I think like I really started to like lose myself. I just like, I'm not like a confident person, but at a point, like I didn't really care about other people or what they thought. But I really started to like be more insecure, become really jealous, and then kind of going through into the pandemic and stuff. Obviously, like I drank way too much. I just like didn't know who I was, what I was doing, where I wanted my life to go. I feel like I was just kind of dragging myself through the days. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I still like now it's been 4 years, and I would say that I'm still not even like 100% back at like my the self that like I could be. Mm-hmm. It's just, you know, working through everything still and just trying to better myself and just kind of remember that, or not really remember, just I don't even know how to put it. Like, I just feel like this stage in our life is so freaking weird. And I know I always revert back to like everybody's on their own path, but it's so true. And I just like, I always have a trouble, like, I don't even know how to put this. Just like not comparing myself to other people, I guess. Mm-hmm. And like where they're at or what. So I just like feel like I've been like super lost, but maybe I'm not as lost as I think I am. I don't know. Like it's really weird. I really don't know how to explain it fully.
No, I get it. But what I was gonna ask you, I don't know where I'm getting this question from, but are you like trying to go back to who you were, or are you trying to become a new?
No, I'm not trying to like go back to the old version of me, but there are some parts that I feel like I did lose that I want back. Just like being a little bit more confident, just like I feel like I wasn't always so awkward around people either.
Yeah,
like I don't know
where that came from.
Yeah, I don't know like when or why that started, because I really feel like in high school, like I was still like a little shy, like here and there, but I feel like I never really had a problem. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
No, that's like, why I was so shocked with like in Italy. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, and I think maybe it's just like as you get older and stuff, like
I've definitely noticed
social media too. I mean,
traits,
I guess back then I didn't really have that much like social media either. I wasn't like
absorbing
much, like I didn't understand really anything that was like going on. I watched like Disney Channel and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, literally.
Like, I don't know. So I don't know. That plays a big role in it, but I don't know. There are definitely some things that
you would like to get back.
I have lost that I haven't gotten back yet. I don't know if I ever will, but I'm working towards that through just like self-help books or trying to journal. Maybe just like if I pinpoint something when I'm writing it down, maybe that'll help. I know like people go to therapy.
Yeah.
I would like that, but I just like don't know where to start with that. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because, and I just, how you were saying with the whole everybody's on their own path, it really is like, it's just crazy because we always talk about this. We both think this. You just see people driving. I always just wonder,
I know,
what is their life like? Yeah. And it's just, there's so many souls on this earth and everybody's just has their own life and everybody's like, if you think about it, like your life, it's like an invisible thing, but how much space it takes up because there's so many of us. But I don't know. I get kind of worked up thinking about that, but yeah, for me, I've definitely lost myself too, especially at this age. I feel like it's just such a common, and that brings me comfort and peace to know that I'm not the only one that's feeling like this, but it just does suck because I'm like, who is Julia? Sometimes I wish that I had a roadmap. Like somebody would literally give me a map and just tell me what to do, but that's not what life is about. Life is about the unexpected. Find it on your own. And you have to find it on your own. And I hate that because I think I've said this before. I like the easy way out. I will always take the easy way out. So if somebody was like, create your own life, here's a roadmap, I'm taking the fucking roadmap. So definitely like the key times where I think I've lost myself was in high school. That was a time, but that's you're developing, you're doing your own thing. And then, after we graduated during COVID, not being able to land the job that I thought I wanted my whole life or whatever the hell that is, couldn't find it. I was like, okay, I'm going to do real estate. Now I'm at the point with real estate where I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to do this my whole life. And it's just a continuous cycle of like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Who is Julia?
I mean, yeah, right now, like, I totally understand that. I'm kind of like, in a way, just like reinventing who I even am right now, like at 26, because I don't drink alcohol anymore. I don't have a job, like the same job that I thought I was going to do for the rest of my life. So I'm like completely 180ing my career choice. It's just like but I find like, again, I think there's just like a lot of beauty in that too, though. And I feel like people just don't, I feel like people don't see that. Like when you're in it, when you're like deep in the trenches, you're like, oh my gosh, like my life is over. Or, like I look like a loser, or I'm never going to get out of this. I'm never going to get past this point. But you will. And you just have to look at it as like, a lot of people don't even have the opportunities to like feel this. And I know that sounds just like so corny, but like it's true. Like all these emotions that we're feeling and stuff, like, I don't know, you just have to look at it like, with a positive light instead of a negative one. And like you will always get past it. Like think of other things that we have gone through before and we were like, oh, we're never gonna friggin' get past this, our lives are over. Like it's not true. We are here now.
Yeah,
just takes a minute.
Because I'm in that state right now where I'm like, it's gonna get better, like I'm fine. But then I also kind of in the back of my head, I'm like, bitch, you need to stop telling yourself it's fine, because what if it gets worse and worse and worse? But yeah, I'm trying to just be like, one day at a time. I'm okay.
Yeah, I think that's important, because I mean, I know maybe a lot of people also don't have like the benefit to have the mindset of that, because like whether they I don't know what everybody's going through in their life, but like for us right now, we kind of can figure it out, you know, like we have the space to figure it out. Like do we? Yeah, I know.
Oh, I feel like you never figure it out based on what the people have said. You never figure it out at the end of the day.
No, but it like I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just hoping like sometime soon things will just start to fall into place.
But what does that even look like? Because I feel like even if they were starting to fall into place, you would still be like, well, this and this and this and this. Just
I guess nobody is ever human. Like happy, like 100% happy. But I guess just like in the space that I'm in now, like I hope that I like land a job soon, you know, like I hope like at least to get out of this phase. And then you're right, like we'll enter the next one of whatever, like I'm not gonna have kids or something, like you know, like it's always something you're worried about, which is unfortunate because we should just be able to live our damn lives. But I know we're always just like
we're all just confused, and that's okay.
And
that's okay. Yeah, I do see. I'm not too worried right now because, like I said, I guess I'm fortunate enough, like you were saying, to not be that worried, but. We're all just always confused, and we always lose ourselves at one point. But I feel like if like that core, like I want to be a good person is there, you'll be okay.
Is there anything that like you would recommend to somebody who feels like they've kind of lost themselves to start doing?
Me, myself? I don't fucking know. Because like I said, I'm faking it till I make it. That's my advice. Fake it till you make it. Tell yourself it's going to be okay. But you know what?
That's literally like, though, how we were talking in our last, our random rants one about manifestation.
Oh, yeah.
If you just fake it till you make it and pretend like you're living the life that you want.
Right.
You're speaking it into existence. It's going to all align.
That's like our podcast is going to pop off. Like I say that every day and it will. So I always just tell myself, you're going to be okay. It's going to be fine. It's going to work it out.
Yeah, just like have that positive talk and even like setting goals for yourself, like little goals too. Nothing crazy, but stuff that like still makes you feel accomplished. Yeah, and that you have control over so you don't feel like you're like completely losing all of your control in life. Because a lot of things you can't control, but there are some things you can.
Right. I sometimes like a small victory for me is literally like I have been telling, for example, this is like just, I don't know where this comes from, but I'm just a procrastinator too sometimes. And I've been wanting to get my damn fake nails from TJ Maxx, and I haven't done it, and I don't know why. And
all right, well, we're gonna do that today.
And then I'm just like, the second I actually do it, I'm like, that's a small victory, because I know for myself, it's such a, not a big thing. It's just get in your car and go. But I literally can't explain why I've been thinking about them all week and I haven't gone. It's insane. That's actually insane for me. I don't know, but that's just who I am. And the second that I actually go and just do it, I'm like, I feel a lot better. So I think it's like little things like that too, where it's, or do the laundry. Like, you've been trying to do the laundry, just do the laundry.
That's
you know, it's just like little things that make you feel like I'm in control.
Yeah, I think that too. Like, what I also really enjoy about being sober is because I'm 100% in control of that. Like, I can choose if I want to have a drink or if I want to like stay sober. And I think just even like going through this, knowing that, okay, like I can do this, it makes me feel a little bit better, because I don't know if I've also talked about this. I think I've told you that literally like everything I have ever done, like sports or whatnot, I have quit.
Oh, me too.
100, like I have quit.
A quitter.
I am a quitter.
I am a quitter as well.
I quit everything, or just like when things get hard, I'm just like, oh, like, I don't want to do this anymore.
The easy way out.
Yeah. So I think like this has actually been just like really good.
Yeah.
And it's so nice that I can see myself actually like do this instead of just like throwing in the towel like I have all the other times before.
Proud of you.
Okay, so kind of steering away a little bit from our identities and everything like that, it is now time for our Just Ask segment. So we get to hear from you guys. Please keep submitting to suburbanhappyhour@gmail.com. We love to help you guys, and we hope to keep doing this in every episode, but we can't unless you send stuff in.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please and thank you. But no, we have one for today.
Okay. Because we need people to send them in, please.
Submit your freaking things.
Please.
And this one goes, hi, ladies. I'm thinking about also starting a podcast. Is it hard? Are there any tips and tricks that you may have? And basically, what sparked you guys to start this?
Well, it's hard. It's hard, but it's been fun.
Yeah. It's definitely a second job. Like, okay, so you might hear some background noise, aka Ozzy.
But we're almost done.
But we're almost done. So yeah, going into, it is like a second job. I didn't think we realized how hard it was going to be till we actually did it. So some tips and tricks is, number one, record at least 3 or 4 episodes prior to even like going live with it.
Yes.
Because it's going to take you a while to figure out how to edit, to figure out like you're posting stuff. Have your social media platforms created as well. Just make them private. Get nice mics from the start.
Yes, we went through like, we had mics at the beginning and then we switched to these, but also having guests is like really hard. We've tried to have guests 2 times before and the mic situation was absolutely atrocious, so we couldn't put those episodes out. Right.
So that was, lost time there. Get a ring light. We have one. That really does help. I would say start with a nice background from the get-go.
Yeah. Like
have like somewhere where you can film that has good lighting.
That's just like clean.
Just like clean.
Just clean looking. But also you are going to like re-listen to these podcasts and be like, oh my God, like this is actually terrible. Who cares? It's obviously probably not as bad as you think it is.
Yeah.
We almost re-recorded our very first episode the night before we posted because we listened back and we were like, this is fucking terrible. We were so hard on ourselves and stuff, but at the end of the day, like,
it's your first episode. Just get it out there.
And at that point, like, who cares? Like, we have so much fun doing this, and regardless of who's listening, like, I don't know. I just enjoy talking
doing this,
with you and helping out our people that actually like submit things and stuff. It's just like really fun.
Right. So,
but it is hard. There's a lot of things you have to do.
And also kind of like group together your topics and stuff, like kind of have like an idea of what you would like to talk about. That also helps. And whether you want to do it with someone or not. And if you do it with someone, make sure it's someone who's going to commit to it, because like I think we're both like very committed to this. If we weren't, this would be impossible to do, because it takes so much time and effort.
Yeah.
So
it really does. It does take a lot of time and a lot of planning, like behind the scenes that obviously like you don't see when you're just like listening to this podcast, but
right.
It's just, it is like a second job, but it is really rewarding and fun. And like I said, even if you start off with like 2 listeners, like, oh, wow, it's worth it. It's something that you have been wanting to do and stuff. And she asked, like, how did we start?
Like, why did we start?
I don't know.
Why did we do
like
this?
People like
No.
I think people were just saying that like, oh, it would be like so fun for us to have a podcast, because we do like to like talk back and forth to each other and our friends. We've said that like our friends always say that like our friend group should have like
a show,
a TV show or something
like
and then
yeah.
like, I don't know, one day Julia was like, do you really want to do it? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, why not?
Yeah, I don't
really know exactly what sparked it. But we just did it.
Yeah, and I would also like to make money off of this. So that's also another thing. I think it's like honestly like a really cool job to have if you do get to call it your job.
Yeah.
So I would like for this to be my full-time job eventually. So that's also something.
Like, subscribe.
Yeah, like, subscribe.
And also I would say just don't be afraid to like reach out to your friends and your family and be like, hey, listen to this.
Right.
Like, I know it's a little weird. You're going to have to be like vulnerable. I know my parents listen to these episodes sometimes now, because after hearing a few episodes, they were like, yeah, I don't think I want to hear this anymore. But just because they didn't want to know all this additional stuff about me that they never knew. Right. But I don't know. Just like, don't be afraid
to be yourself.
To be your authentic self, you know? It doesn't really matter what anybody thinks at the end of the day. As long as you're doing something that makes you happy.
Yeah. So many people have come up to me either at like work or at the gym or texting, and they're like, that is so cool that you're doing that. I've always wanted to do that. And, you know, there's a lot of people that want to do it, but not that many people actually do.
Yeah.
So it feels like I'm proud of us for actually doing this.
Yeah.
So
you can be proud of yourself too. Just do it.
Just do it.
It's fun.
It is
and
hard,
if you need any
it's
other tips and tricks, like you could use our email and we can email you back. Like, and then the actual steps that we took.
We edit on iMovie, which is it's cheap. If you have a MacBook, it's free.
Oh,
and GarageBand for sound.
Yeah.
I know there's so many different systems out that are a lot better, but it works for us. Like, we're not some like high tech.
Yeah, no, it does the job.
It does the job. It's free. So yeah, don't invest too much at the beginning, I would say. Like, I feel like we're using an iPhone. We don't have like a nice camera.
Yeah.
And I think it does a good enough job. So
gets the point across. Does what it needs to do.
Yeah. So that's that.
Oh, make sure your phone has storage, because this one never has freaking storage on her phone.
Storage.
Make sure your phone has storage in order to even record a decent amount of time.
Yep.
But that's it.
That's it. Hope that helped. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening today.